Alison Kenwood, Equestrian Coach. This is the second part of the leg yield series. Today, I'm going to share a few different ways to ride leg yield and my formula for earning higher marks for presenting leg yield in your dressage tests. Last time, we looked at riding leg yield in walk, and whilst today I'm going to talk about leg yield in trot, remember, you can continue to use walk leg yield patterns as part of your programme. We can include a few steps of trot leg yield to help us ride through a corner and to re-establish a connection to the outside rein. Another favourite of mine is to leg yield a step or two away from the track, ride straight for a stride or two, and then leg yield back to the track. This exercise is a good way to remind your horse they need to listen and wait for your aid, rather than rush to leg yield on autopilot. A popular exercise is to start on a 20-metre circle and spiral in gradually until your circle is 12 metres or 10 metres, depending on the level of training, before asking for leg yield to a bigger circle, maintaining the new circle before stepping over to the next circle, and so on until you have returned to the original circle. When your horse understands this pattern, you can link a transition to canter as you complete your leg yield to the original circle. A favourite pattern of mine is to leg yield across the school on a diagonal line in walk or trot. This exercise is great as a warm-up or as a break from other patterns to help your horse stretch and relax. Choose your diagonal line, turn onto the line so that you are looking at the end marker between your horse's ears. Now, ask your horse to step across so that he is leg yielding almost parallel to the long side, so that if you had a mirror on the short side, you could watch your horse travelling forwards and sideways, positioned away from the direction you are travelling. Your horse will take time to develop suppleness, and initially, I would ride a shallow line across the school to help my horse to understand what I'm asking him to do with his legs and body. It's important to focus on relaxation, so take a look at your horse's neck. Is he stretching forward, or does he feel bunched up and tense? Help your horse to relax by temporarily adapting the pattern to make it easier for your horse. Perhaps even reintroduce the line in walk to give him more time to understand the exercise. Now, let's fast forward to a point in your programme where you're competing at elementary level. I've chosen a section of the British Dressage Elementary Test 6 to spotlight for my discussion on earning higher marks for leg yield. Let's look at the first part of the test, when horse and rider are fresh into the arena with several questions to answer. Before the first leg yield movement, you have a chance to show the judge how you work together. The test links a medium trot across the diagonal to a collected trot, a 10-metre circle to the right, a few steps of shoulder in right, a half circle to the centre line, and a straight line before a line to the corner to present your leg yield. I will of course create videos about shoulder in and test riding through the levels, but I wanted to reassure riders that sometimes it's actually easier to ride shoulder in than leg yield. For this reason, I like this test pattern because it helps to improve the connection and keeps the collected trot fresh. The test asks for the medium trot early on, and this offers an opportunity to open the frame and refresh the trot ahead of the lateral work. The 10-metre circle, when ridden accurately and allowing the horse to flow forwards, will help the rider position the horse's shoulders, setting them up for the shoulder in. The half circle to the centre line helps the partnership to rebalance and prepare to flow to the corner in leg yield. Think of it as turning through a corner onto your line. The rider has an awareness of the horse's shoulders and is able to position their horse so that they're flexed away from the direction of travel, and then the rider applies the aids to move forwards and across. Every dressage test will give directives for each movement. These highlight key points for the judge and rider to consider. Looking at the directives for the leg yield movement, we have regularity, balance, fluency, positioning, and crossing of the legs. The placement of the movement allows the judge to watch the line the rider is taking and to see the hind legs crossing, as well as being able to assess the regularity of the collected trot, the overall balance and fluency, and how the rider positions the horse. Let's assume you enjoyed riding Elementary 6 and were pleased with your marks. You received a 7 for your leg yield to the right, and you'd like to train and practice to achieve a 7.5 or an 8. Of course, you won't be looking at this as an isolated move, because you need to look at what happened in the moves before. It's important to consider your horse's overall way of going and the stage of their training. But let's think about how you ride leg yield to the right when you are schooling. On the day, you presented the judge with a snapshot of your training, a moment in time. Look at their comments as well as the mark for clues. Think back to the test itself. Did it feel better, the same, or worse than usual? What did you notice about the movements before? Were you riding in a good rhythm? Did you prepare and position your horse to set them up for the leg yield? Did you ride the next movement feeling better after the leg yield? What do you need to do when you ride leg yield in your schooling sessions in order to present more consistent work of a higher quality? Does your horse respond to your aids? Are you confident with how you prepare and position your horse for the leg yield? Does your horse leg yield better to the left? How can you school your horse to develop equal lateral suppleness? Have you watched a video of yourself schooling at home? Have you worked with a coach to help improve your test riding? In my next video, I'm going to introduce how riders can school with the scales of training as a guide for development. If you're aware of the training scales but would like more insight into how to apply the principles in practice and learn how to feel what your horse understands, subscribe to my channel.